A donut is a type of fried dough confectionery, a dessert food. The donut is popular in many countries and prepared in various forms as a sweet snack that can be homemade or purchased in bakeries, supermarkets, food stalls, and franchise specialty outlets. Donuts are usually deep-fried from a flour dough, and typically either ring-shaped or without a hole, and often fill. Other types of batters can also be used, and various toppings and flavorings are used for different types, such as sugar, chocolate, or maple glazing. In addition to flour, donuts may also include such ingredients as water, leavening, eggs, milk, sugar, oil, shortening, natural flavors and/or artificial flavors. The two most common types are the ring donut and the filled donut, which is injected with fruit preserves, cream, custard, or other sweet fillings. A small spherical piece of dough may be cooked as a donut hole. Once donuts have been fried, they may be glazed with a sugar icing, spread with icing or chocolate, or topped with powdered sugar or sprinkles of fruit. Other shapes include rings, balls, and flattened spheres, as well as ear shapes, twists, and other forms. Donut varieties are also divided into cake and yeast resin type donuts. Donuts are often accompanied by coffee when they're purchased at donut shops or fast food restaurants. Shapes. Rings. Ring donuts are formed by one of two methods: by joining the ends of a long, skinny piece of dough into a ring, or by using a donut cutter, which simultaneously cuts the outside and inside shape, leaving a donut-shaped piece of dough and a donut hole. This smaller piece of dough can be cooked and served as a donut hole, or added back to the batch to make more donuts. A disc-shaped donut can also be stretched and pinched into a torus until the center breaks to form a hole. Alternatively, a donut depositor can be used to place a circle of liquid dough directly into the fryer. There are two types of ring donuts: those made from a yeast-based dough for raised donuts, or those made from a special type of cake batter. Yeast-raised donuts contain about 25% oil by weight, whereas cake donuts' oil content is around 20%, but they have extra fat included in the batter before frying. Cake donuts are fried for about 90 seconds at approximately 190 degrees Celsius to 198 degrees Celsius, turning once. Yeast-raised donuts absorb more oil because they take longer to fry, about 150 seconds at 182 degrees Celsius to 190 degrees Celsius. Cake donuts typically weigh between 24 grams and 28 grams, whereas yeast-raised donuts average 38 grams and are generally larger and taller when finished. Topping after frying. Ring donuts are often topped. Raised donuts are generally covered with a glaze. Cake donuts can also be glazed, or powdered with confectioner's sugar, or covered with cinnamon and granulated sugar. They are also often topped with cake frosting and sometimes sprinkled with coconut, chopped peanuts, or sprinkles. Holes. Donut holes are small, bite-sized donuts that were traditionally made from the dough taken from the center of ring donuts. Before long, donut sellers saw the opportunity to market holes as a novelty, and many chains offer their own variety, some with their own brand names such as Munchkins from Dunkin' Donuts and Timbits from Tim Hortons. Traditionally, donut holes are made by frying the dough removed from the center portion of the donut. Consequently, they are considerably smaller than a standard donut and tend to be spherical. Similar to standard donuts, donut holes may be topped with confections, such as glaze or powdered sugar. Originally, most varieties of donut holes were derivatives of the ring donut counterparts. However, donut holes can also be made by dropping a small ball of dough into hot oil from a specially shaped nozzle or cutter. This production method has allowed donut sellers to produce bite-sized versions of non-ring donuts, such as filled donuts. fritters and Dutchies. Fill. The filled donut is a flattened sphere injected with fruit preserves, cream, custard, or other sweet fillings, and often dipped into powdered sugar or topped off with frosting. Common varieties include the Boston cream, coconut, key lime, and jelly. Other shapes others include the fritter and the Dutchie, which are usually glazed. These have been available on Tim Hortons' donut menu since the chain's inception in 1964, and a 1991 Toronto Star report found out that these two were the chain's most popular type of fried dough in Canada. There are many other specialized donut shapes such as old-fashioned bars or long johns, or with the dough twisted around itself before cooking. In the Northeast U.S., bars and twists are usually referred to as crullers. Another is the beignet, which is square-shaped, covered with powdered sugar. History. Possible origins. Donuts have a disputed history. One theory suggests they were invented in North America by Dutch settlers, and in the 19th century, donuts were sometimes referred to as one kind of oleokalk, a sweetened cake fried in fat. Hanson Gregory, an American, claimed to have invented the ring-shaped donut in 1847 aboard a lime trading ship when he was 16 years old. Gregory was dissatisfied with the greasiness of donuts twisted into various shapes and with the raw center of regular donuts. He claimed to have punched a hole in the center of dough with the ship's tin pepper box, and to have later taught the technique to his mother. Smithsonian Magazine states that his mother, Elizabeth Gregory, made a wicked deep-fried dough that cleverly used her son's spice cargo of nutmeg and cinnamon, along with lemon rind, and put hazelnuts or walnuts in the center, where the dough might not cook through, and called the food Donuts. According to anthropologist Paul R. Mullins, the first cookbook mentioning donuts was an 1803 English volume which included donuts in an appendix of American recipes. By the mid-19th century, the donut looked and tasted like today's donut, and was viewed as a thoroughly American food. Another theory on their origin came to light in 2013, appearing to predate all previous claims, when a recipe for doughnuts was found in a book of recipes and domestic tips written in 1800 by the wife of Baron Thomas Dimsdale, the recipe being given to the Dowager Baroness by an acquaintance who transcribed for her the cooking instructions of a local delicacy, the Hertfordshire nut. Etymology. Doughnut. The earliest known recorded usage of the term dates to an 1808 short story describing a spread of fire cakes and doughnuts. Washington Irving's reference to doughnut in 1809 in his History of New York is more commonly cited as the first written recording of the term. Irving described balls of sweetened dough, fried in hog's fat, and called doughnuts, or ollekooks. These nuts of fried dough might now be called doughnut holes. Doughnut is the more traditional spelling, and still dominates outside the U.S. At present, doughnut and the shortened form doughnut are both pervasive in American English. Doughnut. The first known printed use of doughnut was in Peck's Bad Boy and His Pa by George W. Peck, published in 1900, in which a character is quoted as saying, "Pa said he guessed he hadn't got much appetite, and he would just drink a cup of coffee and eat a doughnut." Quote, according to John T. Edge, the alternative spelling, doughnut, was invented when the New York-based Display Doughnut Machine Corporation abbreviated the word to make it more pronounceable by the foreigners they hoped would buy their automated doughnut-making equipment. The doughnut spelling also showed up in a Los Angeles Times article dated August 10, 1929, in which Bailey Millard jokingly complains about the decline of spelling, and that he can't swallow the well-done doughnut, nor the ever-so-good bread. The interchangeability of the two spellings can be found in a series of National Doughnut Week articles in the New York Times that covered the 1939 World's Fair. in 4 articles beginning October 9 to mention the Doughnut spelling. Dunkin' Donuts, which was surnamed in 1950, following its 1948 founding under the name Open Kettle, is the oldest surviving company to use the Doughnut variation. Other chains, such as the defunct Mayflower Doughnut Corporation, did not use that spelling. According to the Oxford Dictionary, while doughnut is used internationally, the spelling doughnut is American. The spelling doughnut remained rare until the 1950s, and has since grown significantly in popularity. This growth in use has possibly been influenced by the spread of Dunkin' Donuts. National Doughnut Day. National Doughnut Day, also known as National Doughnut Day, celebrated in the United States of America, is on the first Friday of June each year, succeeding the Doughnut Day event created by the Salvation Army in 1938 to honor those of the members who served doughnuts to soldiers during World War I. About 250 Salvation Army volunteers went to France. Because of the difficulties of providing freshly baked goods from huts established in abandoned buildings near the front lines, the 2 Salvation Army volunteers came up with the idea of providing doughnuts. These are reported to have been an instant hit, and soon many soldiers were visiting the Salvation Army huts. Margaret Sheldon wrote of one busy day, "Today I made 22 pies, 300 doughnuts, 700 cups of coffee." Soon, the women who did this work became known by the servicemen as doughnut dollies.